Here's the main screen of our software. And right now you see there's a Korean lexicon loaded, and we're at Daniel 1:1. And at this screen we work on just one verse, and you can see that we thoroughly analyze each verse. The clauses are marked with lots of features, which you see in the pop-up. The noun phrases are marked with features. The words are marked with features. The concepts are very precisely defined. Then over here we have the grammar rules for the language. We'll look at just one of the rules for Korean. This particular rule inserts all of the tense markers on the Korean verbs. Now the point of this software is when we click this Generate button, the software will take our analysis of Daniel 1:1 and apply the Korean lexicon and grammar to it and produce an initial draft translation of that verse in Korean, and we see it there. Now let's switch to English. So the software loads the English lexicon. Takes just a moment here. So we see the analysis of Daniel 1:1, but now we see English words here. But the analysis stays exactly the same. All of the target languages use the same set of source texts. And we'll look at just one of the grammar rules for English. This rule inserts all of the pronouns. So you see the personal pronouns, the reflexive pronouns, the reciprocal pronoun, possessive pronouns, etc. And now, when we click the Generate button, the software will take our analysis of Daniel 1:1 and apply the English lexicon and grammar to it and produce an initial draft translation in English. A man named Nebuchadnezzar was the king of Babylon. Another man named Jehoiakim was the king of Judah. When Jehoiakim had been the king of Judah for about 3 years, Nebuchadnezzar and his army went to Jerusalem. Then they attacked Jerusalem and defeated Jehoiakim and his army. Now we'll go to Tagalog, the national language of the Philippines. I'm based here in Manila. So the software loads the Tagalog lexicon. And we're still here at Daniel 1:1, and now you see Tagalog words here. And we'll look at one of the rules for Tagalog. Tagalog is an ergative absolutive system, and they use case markers, and here are all of the case markers used in Tagalog. They have many of them, as you can see. So now when we click the Generate button, the software will take our analysis of Daniel 1:1 and apply the Tagalog lexicon and grammar and produce an initial draft of this verse in Tagalog. Now at this screen, we can only work on one verse at a time. Here's where we enter all the words and build the grammar. When our grammar and lexicon are well developed, we come here, where we can generate an initial draft translation of the entire Bible, if we had source text for the entire Bible. For this video, we're going to generate an initial draft of the book of Genesis in Tagalog. Now this is a time lapse. In real time, this would take approximately 3 hours. But our software is now applying the Tagalog lexicon and grammar to our source text for Genesis and producing this draft. We could give this draft to any Tagalog speaker, and he or she would easily be able to understand it. It's not polished. It needs to be cleaned up. It needs to be revised. We need more precise words put in. The information needs to flow more smoothly, more pronouns, etc. But any Tagalog speaker could understand this. So there's a draft of Genesis in Tagalog. If we had source text for the entire Bible, we could click that button and our software would produce an initial draft translation of the entire Bible.